Welcome to your A to Z guide to the 2021 Dutch Grand Prix. After a 36-year absence from the Formula One calendar, the Dutch Grand Prix makes its highly anticipated return this weekend at the infamous Zandvoort Circuit. A track that has undergone many changes since its last F1 race, we're here to bring you up to speed on everything you need to know about this circuit and the weekend in general. If you do enjoy these types of race previews, remember to leave this video a like and subscribe to our channel. So let's not waste any more time and get to know the Zandvoort Circuit a little bit better ahead of the weekend. Located west of Amsterdam, this seaside circuit opened way back in 1948 and held its first F1 Grand Prix in 1952. Since then, there have been 30 World Championship races held at this track, with the last one coming in 1985, which was won by Niki Lauda. The 4.2-kilometer circuit has been heavily reprofiled since then and will offer drivers many challenges this weekend. Zandvoort is made up of 14 corners overall, 10 to the right and 4 to the left. Thanks to the roller coaster ride of bank corners and elevation changes, the downforce setup required at Zandvoort will be higher. With the second DRS zone being relatively short, drivers will take their lap time at full throttle only 61% of the time. The pole sitter will start Sunday's race on the left side of the grid, with the run down to turn 1 being 215 meters. Turns 3 and 14 at Zandvoort have undergone the most changes, with the corners now being banked at around 19 degrees. That's roughly double the banking at Indianapolis, which is about 9 degrees. And with turn 14 being flat out, drivers will experience forces in excess of 4G going through the corner, which will be spectacular to watch. This track is still very old school despite the changes, as it is fast and narrow with plenty of elevation changes. Some of the more likely areas for overtaking will be turn 1, which is known as the Tarzan hairpin, and the end of the second DRS zone approaching turns 11 and 12. Because Zandvoort is an unfamiliar circuit with many fans, let's now take a look at a driver's point of view of the track in a lap I drove of the circuit back in F1 2020. Now that you've seen what a lap of the Zandvoort Circuit is like, let's learn a little bit more about the history of the Dutch Grand Prix. The most successful constructor around Zandvoort have been Ferrari, who have collected 27% of the total wins with 8 victories. Behind them come Lotus, who took 6 Dutch GP wins in their history, and then McLaren, who have won 3 times around this circuit. Mercedes and Williams are the only 2 other teams to have won a Dutch Grand Prix in their team's history. Of course, none of the current drivers have won here, as there hasn't been a race in Zandvoort since 1985, but many drivers have raced here in junior categories. 16 out of the 20 drivers have experience racing around this circuit, with Kimi Räikkönen, Fernando Alonso, Pierre Gasly, and Yuki Tsunoda being the only drivers who have not raced here before. Out of the 30 Grand Prix held at this track, pole position has been the most successful starting grid slot for a race win, taking 40% of the total victories. Second place is not a bad position either, with 33% of race winners starting from there, while only 23% have been able to win from outside of the top 3. Zandvoort has seen a 0% safety car probability in its history because Formula One only introduced safety cars after 1985. Here you'll find the start time for free practice sessions and also qualifying and the race. We begin the weekend notes with a look ahead to the potential weather forecast. After the washout in Belgium, I don't think many F1 fans will be happy to see rain in the forecast for race day, but we do have it once again. Currently, they're expecting a 70% chance of showers in Zandvoort for Sunday with a high of only 21 degrees. Friday and Saturday are expected to be clear and sunny, but not very warm. Let's now move on to the tire choices for the Dutch Grand Prix. As a new race on the calendar, Pirelli has made the choice to go with the hardest compounds in its range in order to cope with the high tire stress at Zandvoort. The asphalt on the track isn't too abrasive, but the high G-forces put through the tires will make it more challenging. For example, Turn 7 is a corner taken at over 260 km an hour, with lateral G-forces reaching 5.3 Gs. Free practice will be very busy with teams trying to learn the track and see which tires will be optimal for the race, as strategy is an unknown. Here are the rest of your weekend notes for the 2021 Dutch Grand Prix. The Dutch Grand Prix has been a highly anticipated race for quite some time now. Thanks in large part to Max Verstappen's superstardom and the support of the Orange Army, the Netherlands gets to host a Formula One race once again. And what better time for Verstappen to attend his home race than in 2021 when he is a championship contender? After the debacle of what was called a race in Belgium, this weekend will be huge for Verstappen and Red Bull if they can get the victory. Not only would winning your home Grand Prix be a dream come true, it would also allow Verstappen to regain the championship lead after being handed an important 12.5 points in Belgium. With a gap to Hamilton only being 3 points, we don't have to remind everyone how important a home race can be for these two championship contenders. It will also be interesting to see what upgrades some teams will bring to their cars, as we weren't able to see them run in the wet qualifying and race sessions in Spa. But once again, the weather could play a factor on race day, so pole position will be especially important, just like we saw in Belgium. It's not impossible to overtake around Zandvoort, but it will be very tricky considering how narrow it is and the general nature of modern F1 racing. The return of the Zandvoort Circuit and Formula One to Holland has been hyped up for quite some time now, and we're all excited that it's finally here. It's great to see an old-school track back on the calendar with some new generation improvements that will offer drivers a real challenge. With over 70,000 fans expected in attendance, Verstappen and the Orange Army finally have the home race that they deserve, and let's hope the on-track action will be well worth the wait. So that about does it for the A to Z guide to the 2021 Dutch Grand Prix. Now's your turn to jump down in the comments below and give us your race predictions for this weekend's Dutch Grand Prix. If you did enjoy this video, remember to leave it a like, and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for notifications so you never miss a race preview for a Grand Prix this season. Thanks for watching the video, and we hope you enjoy the race.